So what I want to do now is want to play exactly what they had to say now, and I'm going to come back and react to their comments. Take a listen to them here.
Do you think because these young guys are getting more money that they're less receptive to some criticism? I know you guys have said you worked with some good younger players and they've been asking you questions, but have you noticed a change in that with maybe other guys you've kind of seen throughout the league where you can't tell him nothing because he just signed for, you got 20 million or 30 million?
Yeah, you know, my problem, this is me speaking for me. You know what my problem is? Like all these guys that have an entitlement when it comes to certain you couldn't name, you wouldn't know who Horace Grant was. The knowledge of the game ain't there. And to me, that's what bothers me more so than anything. Mm-hmm. It's like when I first came in the league, I could name every 90s team. I can name everybody who won the championship in the 90s, in the 80s. I can name, you know what I mean? I can name like...
Name me all the names of the champions in the 90s. Man, I might not even know all the names. I know who Horace Grant is.
But you get my point, though.
Yeah. So with that being said, obviously, Anthony Edwards comes with the controversial statement about nobody was skilled other than Jordan back in the day. What's your takes on that?
My take is like, listen, Ant is one of my favorite players to watch.
Mine too.
By far. But even something like that, we never would have made no statement like that.
Right. Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because regardless, at the end of the day, I respect every OG who ever played this game. This game was built on a foundation of taking steps of wherever it came from.
Mm-hmm.
And I never discredit wherever the league was at 20 years ago because it's all about, you know, elevating, you know, and granted, I only read the headlines of what he said. I don't know what context further he went into to further explain it. But if you look at it back then, it was, those guys still was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Like they still was. Like you look at a guy like Ron Strickland. He wasn't skilled.
Right.
No.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Was for sure.
Like you can't tell me it wasn't no skillful guys around just because at the time you have such a phenom of a athletic freak in Michael Jordan. Don't discredit everybody else.
Right.
We had one of the best bigs that ever played this game, Hakeem Olajuwon, playing the 90s. That was
most skilled.
He had
big.
The most skilled big I done seen play in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, win back-to-back championships, MVPs, defensive players. Like it's so many of those. You look at it, even Scottie Pippen. Like you see a Scottie Pippen like that today, you would think he a unicorn.
Mm-hmm.
Guys
you know
like
what
Brent
I mean?
Berry jumping from the free throw line.
It's
My gosh, I don't see that today.
But it's like, my thing is like, I was trying to understand where he was coming from, but I know from my point of view, I would never discredit or undermine anybody who came before me because regardless, like I watched Alex English play. He wasn't athletic, like he wasn't this, but I used to always watch his tape on him on how he got buckets, how he scored. Whether if it was simple or not, it was a skill that he had that he mastered. You know what I mean? You look at George Gervin, you don't see nobody shooting no finger rolls like him.
Right.
That's a skill that you cannot teach. And I feel like everybody had their own skill just because it wasn't to a Michael Jordan level. Don't discredit it. That's my only take to it.
We had my pops on last episode, and so this was the conversation we had. And my viewpoint, and not to put words in his mouth or not to try to explain what he was trying to say, I took it as he was just trying to relate MJ to how we move in today's game. You know what I mean? Like us being athletic and high flying and athletic maneuvering, acrobatic in the air. That's what I was hoping he was referring to without being able to explain everything that he meant to say about that situation. So hopefully I'm helping him in that.
Listen. We all got an opinion
because it was a bad take.
Yeah, I get it, but
so you heard what they had to say. What are you gonna say now? Is it now the old heads? Oh, the old heads is hating on me. The old heads. Was that the old heads? These are current NBA dudes, all stars, saying it like, yo, son, you're an idiot. Number one, DeMar DeRozan said he can't stand players that are not students of the game. It is quite clear that Anthony Edwards is not a student of the game. It's the only reason you would say something ignorant. As a matter of fact, the only people that will support Anthony Edwards are people that know nothing about basketball history, or people that are trying to troll and act like they don't know, but they know. Because you got to be a flagrant moron to go out there and say something like that. And some people thought like, yo, son, he was saying nothing. He was saying nothing. You heard him bring up Hakeem Olajuwon. Hakeem is more skilled than anybody in the NBA today. Forget what you heard. Hakeem Olajuwon is more skilled than any basketball player today. If you put Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, and these dudes in the NBA today, they smoking these cats. They just are. You heard DeMar DeRozan quoting players like Alex English, George Gervin. It's called knowing your history. Who else knew that players from the past were really good? Kobe Bryant. So Kobe, like, yo, like, this is the problem. This is the problem, and this is the reason why we got to call out this ignorant nonsense.